cause that be natural.
Lady
I ain't
D.
looking tacky. I keep my game tactful.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm so nappy. Cause that be natural.
The infamous.
I ain't looking tacky cause I keep my game tactful.
I'm so pretty, I'm so fat, boo. I'm so natural, it's like it's a taboo. I'm so filthy, got the tattoo stuck in these bitches like I own ragu. On my business with my platoon, getting these minutes like I'm a typhoon. Y'all this jersey on that cartoon and I'm still on top.
I am not and do not encourage or promote this book to anyone who is under the age of 18. That is not my intention or motive. This book and video is for an adult audience. I am merely sharing my opinion of this book. If you are under the age of 18, please get your parents' consent and or supervision before reading this book or watching this video. Otherwise, keep it moving. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's get into this book review.
Hey guys, welcome back to Afros and Baby Hairs, and thank you so much for joining me in the reading room today for book review number 5, which will be on the Cartel 5. So if you're interested in hearing what my thoughts and opinions are on this book, then please stay tuned. Alright guys, I'm going to start off by reading the back of the book just to give you an idea of what they have said. And this is a deluxe book. This is not the actual cover for 5, but this is 4 and 5 together. I couldn't find 5 by itself, even though I already had 4. But anyway, when a Boeing 747 drops out of the sky with the men of the cartel aboard, the women of the family have to step into their own. With the federal government on their heels and the family on the brink of destruction, a female dynasty is born. After the government's case is thwarted, the ladies plan to take the family legit. They head west to establish a new endeavor, but with new territory comes new problems. The Carter's family name doesn't ring as loud as it did in Miami. It's a new set of gangsters, a new set of rules, as the cartel finds problems with an Arabic millionaire. Even as the new cartel struggles to go legit, trouble always finds a way into the family circle. Larceny, deceit, and murder are all in the cards. We know that the men have fled. They left on a private jet headed to Bermuda. Zaire and Moreau were able to put their differences aside, especially now that they're in this situation. They also made sure that the ladies had enough money to last them a couple of lifetimes. Because the men have no clue as to how long they will have to stay on the run or if they will even survive this whole entire situation. Their flight disappeared from airspace and all communication to government was cut off. The pilot was paid $1 million to assist them and to start a new life and sound in Bermuda. However, the pilot was tricked. He was told to go have maintenance done on the jet. However, the mechanic rigged the jet to crash. So when the pilot flew back over the Atlantic, that is exactly where it crashed. The girls got news that the men's jet had crashed and that no one survived. So they held a memorial service and mourned the death of their men. I will be mentioning, will include a guy by the name of Fly Boogie. And just to give you a recap as to who Fly Boogie is, he actually worked as Zaire's goon, securing one of Zaire's trap houses. He also distracted the cops who were after Zaire during the high-speed chase. So Fly Boogie went to jail behind that whole situation for a short period of time. So actually he put his life on the line in a sense for Zaire, I guess to show his loyalty. After 6 months had passed, Fly Boogie got a postcard from Saudi Arabia while he was incarcerated. So he figured it was from Zaire, Carter, and Moreau. So once Fly Boogie got out of jail, he went to visit Mee Mee to let her know that the men were alive and well. Now remember that the postcard said nothing. It had nothing written on it. It was just a postcard simply sent from Saudi Arabia. Her told the other women about her discovery. So Back in Saudi Arabia, the men hooked up with their father's friend who was a native of Saudi Arabia and was filthy rich due to all his casinos that he owned. He goes by the name of Baraka, and he set the men in the seat of luxury while they were hiding out. He gave them their own private penthouses equipped with servants, butlers, maids, and plenty of Saudi Arabian women at their disposal. Baraka also decided to do business with Carter. I think they agreed on opening up a casino in Las Vegas, and Baraka would finance this new venture. Carter also developed the daily habit of gambling and had started a secret romantic relationship with Baraka's daughter after spending so much time with her. Her name is Yasmin, and she practically threw herself at Carter. Anyway, Carter ended up rescuing her from some kidnappers who attempted to drive off with her. So I guess that's when Yasmin really fell in love with Carter. Upon Mia Moore finding out that the men were alive, she was on a mission to free them and get them back home. But with the feds watching her every move, she had to lay low. So she decided to contact an old friend, which was Aries of the Murder Mamas, who now lived in Idaho and had a little boy. Aries heard Mia Moore's story but declined to help her because she still felt some type of way about the cartel murdering Mia Moore's sister. Mia Moore also had a self-appointed bodyguard who watched over her day and night, especially after she taught him how to shoot. Her bodyguard turned bestie was Fly Boogie, who was secretly in love with her. The PA tried to get Breeze to snitch, but she thought it was useless because both sides were family. However, upon leaving the PA's office, she ran into Aries and immediately knew who she was because Aries helped kidnap her and was responsible for her being held captive in Haiti by Mati. Breeze was sure to tell Mia Moore about Aries. However, Mia Moore had to explain that Aries was just doing her job and she was now there to help. Lena went on a date with the accountant to try to get Monroe's share from some offshore accounts. However, the accountant was really fond of her and was trying to make her his woman, but at the same time put her up on money management. Aries ended up finding some dirt on the prosecuting attorney. He was into stealing evidence money, be with the mob by the name of Bono, and betting on horses. This information, if it got out, would finish him. Aries and Mia Moore used the information to blackmail the PA. First, they went to a derby and kidnapped the woman who worked closely with the horses. They told her to sabotage the race by injecting the horse that the PA had betted on with some type of tranquilizer or something like that. So that the horse would collapse mid-race. The woman refused at first because she didn't want to hurt the horse, but Mia Moore threatened to murk the woman's family, so the woman did it. So by this happening, the PA actually lost everything he betted, meaning he lost the evidence money and could not replace it. Plus the fact that Mia Moore and Aries had gathered pictures and evidence of him meeting with Bono, this Italian mobster. Mia Moore also paid Bono a visit and became an ally. So Mia Moore used the evidence as blackmail and made the PA give the men life sentences, or else his dirty laundry would be aired. Mia Moore threatened to murder him and his family as well. She agreed to give him the evidence money he lost back so that he could replace what he had stole. So, like I said, the PA actually agreed to the offer that Mia Moore actually suggested. So anyway, Lena ended up getting a trust set up through the accountant that took her on the date. They ended up putting the money from the offshore accounts into a trust. The accountant was trying to get at Lena until Fly Boogie saw them out one night and took pictures of them, then sent them to Monroe. So Fly Boogie ended up threatening the accountant per Monroe's ghost. Lena ended up going to Saudi Arabia to surprise their men. Bree stayed home with the kids. The lady had to tell the men that they could come home now and just serve a 5-year sentence. Monroe and Lena married in Saudi Arabia, and Yasmin finds out about Mia Moore. So, the men came back to Miami and took a plea bargain. But here's the catch. They ended up going to different prisons around the United States. So they were in 3 different locations away from Miami, away from Florida, period. I think one was in upstate New York and the other 2 were in other places. Can't remember exactly the name of the prisons, but anyway, Carter and Mia Moore got married, and Carter told Mia Moore about the Vegas casino venture he and Baraka planned and needed her to make it happen. Mia Moore ended up going to Saudi Arabia to have a meeting with Baraka to let him know she would be stepping in for her husband, you know, because he was incarcerated. And of course, Yasmin was all in their business, snooping and talking bad about Mia Moore under her breath, but at the same time trying to get info on Carter. Either way, Baraka decided to do business with Mia Moore. Mia Moore also ended up calling Bono to help her to establish the casino. Lena, Breeze, and Mia Moore ended up running the casino for 5 years with Fly Boogie right on Mia Moore's every move. The lawyers of the cartel moved to Vegas with them. Breeze and Aries made up, and Aries joined them in Vegas as well, along with her son. So after 5 years, the men finally got out of prison. The casino was flourishing, but then Dean shows up claiming her dad sent her to keep an eye on things. But mind you, she never showed up until Carter got out of jail. So yes, she was trying to rekindle what they had in Saudi Arabia. Carter wasn't feeling it. Plus, he was now married. However, Yasmin kept trying to seduce him. Then eventually, she tricked him and basically raped him after drugging him one night. Thing is, Mia Moore ended up walking in on them while in the act. She ended up beating Yasmin that night, but also kidnapped her, beat her with a shovel, and buried her alive a few days later. She was divorced from Carter and planned to take everything. She also tried to seduce Fly Boogie, but he didn't want to be her rebound. Although he did want to be her man, he didn't want her during a time when she was so vulnerable. Carter ended up finding out what Mia Moore had did to Yasmin when they were in a meeting with their lawyers about the divorce. Either way, Carter knew that what Mia Moore did to Yasmin would kill their partnership with the Arabians, as well as start another war with them. And he knew they did not have the men or the machinery to go up against the Arabians. So while Carter was trying to fuss and argue with Mia Moore about Yasmin outside of the casino, and you know, he was fussing about how she did Yasmin and all of the repercussions that were to come behind it, he ended up getting shot and automatically assumed that it was the Arabians. The Arabians had found out what happened to Yasmin. But mind you, she just did all of this to Yasmin right before she came to the meeting. So there's no way that the news would have spread all the way to Saudi Arabia that fast. But anyway, when Carter got shot, Mia Moore ran to his side. Carter ended up having surgery and lived, but Fly Boogie was really the one who shot him because he wanted Carter gone so that he could be with Mia Moore. Fly Boogie came to visit Carter in the hospital, and at first Carter wanted to thank him for looking out for the ladies while they were on the run and while they did the 5 years. He was actually trying to offer Fly Boogie more money and a higher position until somehow Carter ended up seeing the tattoo of Mia Moore's name tatted on Fly Boogie's wrist. Saved by the doctor, Fly Boogie eased out of the hospital room before, you know, answering the questions about the actual tattoo of this man's wife on his wrist. The hospital ended up being surrounded by the Arabians who were ready for war. Mia Moore and Aries were also preparing for war off in the trenches. Meanwhile, at Fly Boogie's house, he was greeted by an unsuspected guest, Murder. Murder was still alive. He actually survived the plate stabbing done by Mia Moore. He came by to visit Fly because he had paid Fly to take out Carter. However, Fly Boogie had made way more money with the cartel compared to what Murder had paid him. Murder also realized that Fly Boogie had fallen for Mia Moore, but he told him to shake that crush off because he was going to be with Mia Moore and that he needed Fly Boogie to finish the job he was paid to do. That wraps up 5. And my thoughts on that is just, I don't understand why Carter ended up, you know, messing around with Yasmin, being that Zaire had just been in a very similar situation that did not end well. So I don't understand why Carter got caught up in that. I don't really blame Mia Moore for what she did as far as that lady, you know, sleeping with her husband and all of that. But at the same time, you know, you don't want to start a war. You feel what I'm saying? So she should have just let the woman live because she had ties to the
Baraka.
that actually kept her husband's casino in business, the same casino that she helped to establish. So she should have just went at Carter after she gave Yasmin that beating at the you know, that night that she called them together. That should have been enough as far as, you know, business is concerned. But I guess by her being a killer, she was not going to spare this girl's life. And Fly Boogie, he sounds to be bad news. He's fake. He's a traitor. And yeah, I think they're gonna end up murking Fly Boogie in 6, but I don't know. And as far as Murder, how you survive that? These people are surviving all kind of death sentences. They supposed to be dead and in the grave, but somehow they living, guys. So pretty much that's it. I feel like this was a good book as well. It just makes you ready to read the next one to figure out what's going to happen next. So y'all leave your comments below if you read 5 and tell me what you think. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate your time and energy. I hope to see you guys on the next video. Peace and love, and as always, be blissful.
DJ Mike C on the track.
Cause that be natural.
Lady
I ain't
D.
looking tacky. I keep my game tactful.
Yo,
Yeah, I'm so nappy. Cause that be natural.
The infamous.
I ain't looking tacky. Cause I keep my game tactful.
I'm so pretty, I'm so fabu, I'm so natural, it's like it's a taboo. I'm so filthy, got the tattoo, fucking these bitches like I own ragu. On my business with my platoon, getting these minutes like I'm a typhoon. Down the jersey on that cartoon, and I'm sitting on top of these buffaloes. I'm so nappy, I'm so nappy. All these dudes that wanna get at me, I'm so cultured and I'm happy. Jealous witches wanna come back me, cause I'm comfortable in my skin. End of the day, you lose, I win. I'm so profitable in my ends, don't care if I make or lose a few friends. And I look like $1 trillion. Lady, you won a lotto, cause in the Lord I trust. And beauty is the motto, naturally thick in the bud, I'm Billy Blanks.